Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast, the Project Investigation Collaboration brought to you by the Veritas Project. And as always, we are here with our gracious host and founder of the Veritas Project, Robert Curtis.
Hello.
And I'm lead investigator Todd Boyer, and welcome everybody.
Yeah, welcome back.
Oh, so what's going on, Bob? What's going on in your world today?
I'm tired. I had late nights all week.
You had a lot of customers this week.
Yeah. And the channel, we're dealing with legal drama with the other guy who's squatting on our thing. We've let it go long enough that we're big enough that he should have taken notice and changed his name, and he hasn't. So now we're going to send a cease and desist letter to make them change their name.
Yep. That'll happen.
I sent a message to YouTube, and YouTube basically says we don't do anything.
YouTube's like, yeah, we don't care.
So I actually sent that lady back, and I was like, so you're telling me that tomorrow morning if I started a new podcast and called it the Joe Rogan Experience, and just...
You can't do anything about it?
Really? Is that what you're saying? Like, okay, so what you're saying is you have no dignity, is what you're saying.
Right.
You're lazy, and you have no shame.
Yep. Oh, welcome TikTokers. As usual, we do not answer questions while doing the podcast. We will answer all questions at the end. If you guys have, any questions.
Yeah, this is a good topic, so I think we should.
It's a good topic. Something that I want to kind of follow a little bit is supposedly in Toronto this past week, they saw a huge celestial body in the sky, bright red celestial body. Now, some people are saying it was caused by the strawberry moon and a lunar eclipse, but they really don't know.
Huh.
So we'll be following that a little more. Somebody tipped me onto that today, and I looked into it, and there wasn't a whole lot on it.
Okay.
So we're going to have to keep our eyes and ears open for that, because you guys know we all love the weird stuff. So we'll definitely try to find out what's going on with that. So... let's see. Anything else? I mean, we got a lot of stuff coming up we got the live investigation on the 21st.
Yep.
We've got the second annual meet and greet, August 11th, which we still have half a room left. So if you are in the St. Louis area or want to come investigate with us in St. Louis, August 11th, which is a Monday, come down, hang out with us. We start in the morning, and we'll go to Cahokia Mounds, then grab some lunch, then go to the Lemp Mansion, get the keys. Once we get the keys, they leave.
Yeah.
Lemp Mansion, top 10 most haunted place in the country. They leave, give us the keys, they bounce.
Right.
So
it's awesome.
It's all us. So after that, the next day we'll be hanging out. We'll all go get tattoos. And we've all got tattoos that we want to get. And so it is an awesome, awesome time. The people who came to the meet and greet last year absolutely had a blast. And in fact, most of the people at this meet and greet that are coming this year are people that were here last year.
Right.
So they had such a good time and such a great investigation that they will come back this year. After that, we have the Paracon in southern Missouri. We'll be doing that. And then coming up in October, we got invited back to the Mystical Magical Market, which we just did a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. We got invited to come back to that one. So we have a busy few months coming up for the Veritas Project. So I think that's about all we have in local news.
Yeah.
So keep you guys updated on all that good stuff. Don't forget that, if you are like a TikTok watcher, we do those paranormal investigations live on TikTok. So we will be recording the podcast on the 21st instead of 8 o'clock. We'll be recording at 7. And then, forgot to move the microphone forward. We'll be recording at 7. And then after the podcast, we'll head out. It's about an hour and a half drive. Mm-hmm. We'll go live at 10 o'clock on TikTok. And you guys can see the entirety of the investigation live on TikTok. So if that is your cup of tea, you're in the right place.
Okay.
So
we don't edit it.
We do not edit.
Try to add anything to it.
Nope.
We don't. You can watch it live on TikTok. So if you see us come back on our rehashing video and we're talking about something, you know that we didn't sneak it in there, or it's not some kind of sound bite that we just
everything we talk about, and we always post those videos too. So everything that we talk about, if you want to, you can go back and watch the entire investigation here on YouTube. And check out the whole thing if you see something that we talked about. And we've had people tell us things that we've missed.
Yeah.
So, which is awesomeness.
People rewatch it with headphones on and they hear all kinds of stuff that we didn't even notice.
Yep. So, today's topic, we decided that we were going to do a deep dive into shadow people.
Shadow people, how about that?
We've done a lot of topics, but this is one we haven't gone down this rabbit hole too deep. I mean, we've discussed it in passing maybe a couple times, but never really...
types of hauntings and stuff like that we talked about.
Never really a deep dive. So, what are shadow people? They're described as silhouettes. A lot of times they're peripheral vision kind of things. Right. And for you guys, I know we've talked about it before, your eyes are set up to see movement at the corners of your eyes.
Right.
So if you see something out of the corner of your eye, you literally saw something out of the corner of your eye.
Right.
Because your eye is made that way to see movement better on the sides.
Right.
So, sometimes people see shadow figures during sleep paralysis. Sometimes they provoke fear and dread. And their reports are from all over the world.
Yeah.
Multiple continents.
That's a human thing, not a regional thing.
Sometimes they're reported as a hat man or a hooded man.
Right.
I have seen 3 in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. I have a picture of one, which I'll make sure Bob has that so he can add that into here. I saw one in a cemetery when I was in my teens. Mm-hmm. I saw one at the place that shall not be named.
Yeah.
That we're not allowed to talk about, that it's haunted. They don't like it. I walked in, I looked up the stairs, it was standing at the top of the stairs, and turned and walked away. I tried for 10 minutes to make that shadow again, because I figured it had to be my shadow.
Right.
And couldn't do it. And then I actually have a picture of one in a basement in Waterloo, Illinois, which I was with another team when we did that, but Bob and I and Angie, we re-investigated that building a while back, which, if you want to check that out, it's Mill Street Treasures.
Yeah, we have the investigation up on our YouTube.
So you can go back and check out that investigation.
Yeah.
So, have you had any... Oh, we had... You know what? I totally forgot. We had that when I was over at the place that shall not be named, the one that walked across the back of the room.
Yeah.
And was saw by 3 investigators. Mm-hmm. Watched it walk across the back of the room. So, how many of you ran into?
Oh, lots and lots. When I was little, when I was a young child, the house that I saw the UFO in was infested with shadow people. We used to constantly see them out of your periphery. Mm-hmm. Like if you were watching TV, you would see them walk across the door frame, or you'd see movement out of the corner of your eye. Whenever you'd look, they'd be gone. But it happened all the time in that house. And I remember one time I was watching TV with my mom, and I saw it go across the door, and my mom turned to look, and I asked her what it was, and she played it off like it was nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, well, you looked at it, so you had to have seen it. You know what I mean? So it was a weird thing. And then, like you say, at the Y, whatever, I've seen that one a lot.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the first,
the soda machines were by the staircase.
That's right exactly where I saw it, at the top of those stairs.
Yeah, I've seen that one multiple times. And there's like a really cool decorative staircase, like the handrails.
The handrail,
really very ornate. And I'm, as an OCD person, I'm like fascinated by things that are needlessly ornate. And it has like this cross beam, like a wrought iron handmade crossbeam structure, and I was like fascinating about the intricacy of some dude 100 years ago
making this.
It's literally a crossbeam. Like you could stick anything in there, like a piece of any kind of metal, or it's all filigree and hand tooled twisted metal. Like it's
really
absurdly over-engineered, and I was just marveling at someone's month of their life that they put into this cross brace system in here. And I saw a shadow person like literally come out of the door and walk down those stairs, like right in my periphery. And because I was like zoned in on this, I didn't look at that. You know what I mean? So I saw the entire shadow like in its movement.
So you were up the stairs on this?
I was up the stairs looking down at the
Okay, so were you on that first platform, or were you on the other stairs that went up to the attic?
The other ones that go up to the attic.
And that's the thing. Where I saw mine was at the top of the stairs, and it turned and went up to the attic.
Okay.
So that's where I saw mine.
I was up looking down, and because we were doing the spirit box in the attic, and sometimes I just need to get away from it for a little bit. That attic is wild. And there's a lot of
activity in that attic up there.
There's stuff in that attic that was taken from houses where the people were evacuated from a bad situation. So they took some of their furniture with them when they moved, and then didn't take it from the Y. So it just kind of is
just sits up there,
right? And there's a lot of emotion attached to things up there. So that's why that's my opinion of why the attic is such a weird vibe.
I've had, like, going off on a rabbit hole. I was doing a obelisk up there, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to set this down on the table," and the obelisk legitimately said "dirty," and I turned my flashlight to the table, and it was literally just covered like with a half-inch of dust.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, thanks. I'm not going to set this down here now. That table's ridiculous." So that whole upstairs was crazy haunted. That
maybe
whole
it was
place.
that the ghost was telling you they didn't like that their table's dirty.
Yeah, maybe that's a possibility too.
Like, I paid a lot of money for this table.
Right. So back out of the rabbit hole.
There you go.
So shadow figures have been seen all over the world, and that's kind of the crazy thing is, there's a lot of different. If you look at different cultures, they depict ghosts in different ways.
Right.
But shadow figures are one that stays the same all over. All over the world, they're the same. Ancient Egyptians called them kabit, which is a shadow soul. Indigenous cultures report shadow stalkers or night watchers. Ancient Greeks linked it to the soul psyche. Japanese folklore features shadow-like yokai. Medieval Christianity, dark watchers or demons. Islamic jinn lore, as smokeless shadow fire. African tribes are called shadow eaters. Native American shadow people. Mayans spoke of shadow figures. So it's not just one place. And even Tibetan monks, dwellers on the threshold, is what they call shadow people. So shadow people are literally all over the world.
Yeah, and they're similar.
Right. So
that's one of the things we always talk about that trips our interest in it. It was when people from different times and different cultures and different regions that didn't communicate all have the same description of a thing.
Right.
So whether it's dragons or in this case shadow people or ghosts or evil spirits, but there's a similarity in all of their descriptions.
Now, science and psychology say they're hallucinations or manifest of sleep paralysis. I've never seen them in sleep paralysis. I do have sleep paralysis. I've never seen shadow figures in sleep paralysis. The brain's threat detection system, creating imaginary figures. Temporal lobe seizures linked to shadow entity visions. Pareidolia, which is basically it's when you see faces and everything. Yeah. That's pareidolia.
The man in the moon.
Yep.
There's pareidolia.
So they're saying you're seeing a figure in low light. Disassociation due to trauma can project shadow archetypes. Fear-based projections or subconscious mind, mirrors, all that kind of stuff, PTSD. I'm sorry. You can try to explain all that away, but when you see them fully walk, or you see them, and it's multiple people saw the same thing,
right?
I'm not buying that.
Yeah, because multiple people have the same correlations with PTSD, or if it's like a high stress situation, you figure a ghost hunt isn't a high stress situation, and it's the exact opposite of it.
Depends. I mean, if you go in there, a little scared or whatever, but. The three of us we're seasoned, paranormal investigators. We were literally just chilling, shooting a breeze.
Yeah. Right.
So the shadow people in pulp culture, we get the Hat Man or, on Paranormal Witness. I mean, they're featured in The Nightmare in 2015 documentary. They inspire a lot of characters like the Slender Man or, the mentors in Harry Potter. So they're in all of our different cultures. Even Stephen King's Outsider kind of resembles, shadow figures.
What was that TV show? Oh, man, it was back in the 80s. It was
Was it Unsolved Mysteries?
It was like Amazing Stories or something like that. I'm thinking of.
Oh boy!
But there was an episode about the Shadow Man where the kid had the Shadow Man under his bed, and then like the Shadow Man would come out at night and leave, and come back and leave. And one night he blocked it off so it couldn't get back under his bed.
Uh-huh.
And then the Shadow Man was like, "Hey, what's up with this? You put lights under the bed, now I can't get under there." And he's like, "I need you to do some work for me," And he basically started sending the Shadow Man out to be like his enforcer. And then at the end of it, the Shadow Man came back and was staying at the end of his bed, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? You're my guy, like you're my shadow person." He's like, "No, I'm the Shadow Man from under someone else's bed."
Oh gosh. That's funny.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
So, paranormal theories, interdimensional beings maybe, or negative spiritual entities, thought forms, right? By collective belief. Time travelers causing ripple effects, servants or scouts of demonic forces, guardians of portals or ley lines, energy parasites, harbingers of death. I don't know where I stand on shadow people, because I've never seen them I've never felt any kind of negativity, except the one that was in the graveyard, and I was kind of scared. I was young and stupid.
Right.
But,
right.
I don't know where I stand on it. I don't know if I feel if it's like a time traveler or, I don't know, like a watcher maybe.
Yeah.
But why hang out in dark places and not do your thing? Or maybe they're cast out of some kind of way.
Right.
Maybe cast out of the watchers, possibly.
It could be like the time travel thing, like they're talking about, like it's an
echo.
It's like recorded in that environment, because like a time traveler came into that environment from a different time, and then now their energy is ghosted into that plane, so you keep seeing that shadow over and over again, even though their person's long gone. You know what I mean? Like it's just recorded in the environment.
Now, the last one, it says manifestations of cursed or haunted locations. Well, haunted locations.
Yeah, that's
but
what we're talking about.
I mean, we're talking about haunted locations, but the places that you and I have seen them, and I've seen them in different places, but we saw one together in literally the same same place.
Yeah.
Literally same place in the building.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder if maybe they are stuck there, but the way I feel is that it's an intelligence.
Oh, it's definitely.
I mean, because like it saw me see it and turned and left.
If you shine a flashlight on them, they'll just blink out.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a recording on the environment or something. It has to be intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't come out during the daytime.
So you have like the Hat Man phenomenon is like one of them. Tall male figure wearing a trench coat and fedora often appears during times of emotional stress.
It sounds like me at
people
work.
Feeling watched or judged. Yeah.
That's me at my work. A tall man in a fedora wearing a trench coat.
That's your boss.
Comes
or
out
you?
During times of stress.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah.
They believe some to be higher tier shadow entities, often seen in military and veteran sleep paralysis cases. Possible connection to the Men in Black.
Oh yeah. I didn't think about that. That's an idea.
Yeah. We love when we do this research and pull this stuff up, because sometimes it causes us to come up with new theories on the fly.
Connections that we hadn't thought of before.
So we learn things as we're helping you guys want to go out and investigate this stuff yourself. Because you know how we are. We don't want to push you towards something. We want you guys to go, ooh, that's freaking cool. Let me go look into that.
Yeah.
Right. So, now this is one that we talked about earlier with the shadow people and the sleep paralysis. I've never personally seen shadow people. I don't know if there's a lot of times where you can't see what's there, but you can feel what's there.
Right.
But I don't think I've ever seen a shadow person. Well, maybe. Because I'm thinking of one episode where I thought I saw something across the room, and then I felt like a dog, like a large hound, and it literally put its teeth around my neck, and that's when I snapped out of it.
Oh, man.
Like, So, like I said, it's about due. You guys have heard the story before. It's about due. About every 5 or 6 years after I move, they catch up to me. So I'm about due. It says episodes typically last, seconds to minutes. Victims retain full memory of experiences. Let me tell you, I do. I retain full memory of my sleep paralysis. Experience more during stress or exhaustion often leads to lasting fear of sleeping alone. That might have to do with why I sleep with the light on, man. I know what's in the dark. I mean, it doesn't have to, as long as it's not pitch dark, I'm cool.
Right.
But as soon as it goes completely dark, and I think it has to do with what you said, you shine the light on them and they blink out.
Yeah, they blink out. Right.
So I think maybe it has to do with the fact that there's light there that they can't come in or whatever.
Yeah. At my work, we have, because it's an old building that's been added onto multiple times, a lot of the light switches are backwards, so like you walk into the dark room and then light switches on the other side. And like my coworkers won't go that way. They'll intentionally go around.
They'll go all the way around.
Right. And I always just cut through like the dark selection room. They're always like, what do you like in the dark? Why are you worried about the dark? I'm like, I am the scary evil thing in the dark. I'm not afraid of something else in the darkness. The other stuff in the darkness is afraid of me.
Robin says, cue the neuralizer.
Yeah. That's right there.
That's right here.
We keep it handy just in case.
We do.
In case we had to talk about something.
Yeah, in case we talk about something you guys don't need to remember. We'll give you a little zap.
We need to do a deep dive into the MIBs at some point.
That sounds great. That's next week.
That's good
next
story.
Week. We got it. Next week. You heard it right here. For anybody else, next week, Men in Black.
Yeah, we're going
down that rabbit hole.
Deep dive into the MIBs, the real MIBs, not the movies.
Right. So they may be connected to aliens. Because some people say they see shadow people during alien abductions. Report of figures blending from solid to shadow, both phenomenon tied to paralysis and missing time. Grays and shadow people sometimes seen together. So maybe it's like some kind of active camouflage for an alien scout or something.
Or it could be, yeah.
I mean, that's a possibility. That's a theory. Like I said, we'll get theories, as we're going through this stuff. So, I mean, I want to, have you guys out there, put it down there in the comments. Have you guys seen a shadow figure?
Yeah, or what do you think they are?
Yeah, what are you guys' theories on what they are?
I know that when people do remote viewing, like whenever they're like sitting in their house, right, and they go remote view someplace, sometimes their spectral body will look like a shadow person.
Really?
Because there are, I don't know if you know how remote viewing works, but there are people in the government, the military, that are remote viewers, and they will protect a place like Area 51 or whatever, and then when other remote viewers go there, they will intercept foreign military or whatever, they're remote viewers, and that's what they always say.
And that's not a conspiracy theory. That is a legit thing going on. Was it Project Stargate?
Yep.
Or
we covered it.
Yeah. We covered Project Stargate. So, I mean, we've covered a lot of stuff, guys.
Yeah, we go down a lot of rabbit holes.
So, shadow people, government experience, right? Just like Bob said, Project Stargate,
MK Ultra.
Yep. And they talk about, whistleblowers, and like Bob said, I mean, that literally what Bob just said is pretty much point for point exactly what they talk about in our next topic there.
Yeah, that's
so
funny.
I think we can skip that one because Bob covered it handily.
Yeah.
Shadow people in religious and occult lore, demonic entities in Christian exorcism accounts. Kabbalah mentions shadow versions of the divine beings.
Oh, yeah.
So shadows linked to astral parasites in occult teachings. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's kind of a wild one. Like energy
vampires.
Energy vampires, yeah. Forms of jinn or shadows manifest during failed occult rituals.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's what I think the house that we used to live in, I kind of feel like that's what happened there. Is that they were doing some kind of rituals in the basement, or somebody was using that, and then they got stuck there.
Yeah.
Because I talk about the Fox Theater, and how that theater is so old that it has been in darkness inside there for a century.
Yep.
So if you were a shadow person and you're affected by the light, you're cruising around at night doing hooligan stuff, and the sun comes up, you're like, oh, I'm going to duck into this theater, you know?
Right.
And now you're like, oh, look at all this huge space I got, or it's never daytime. You can just store up that spectral energy and just cut loose in there all the time.
And then not only that, so when it is lit up in there, you've got that whole section above the ceiling, because the domed ceiling of the place actually is separate from the upper ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
So there's room to get it there. I've told you that before, where I tried to get in that door and I elbowed it or put my shoulder into it twice. And I'm like, okay, I guess it's not going to open. We turn around, took 2 steps, and we hear, and the door opened like 4 inches. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and keep walking this direction. Right. So they could be hanging out up there, or there's places
in the basement.
In the basement, and if you go above the lobby, it's dark up there. It's where the air conditioning units and stuff are. Yeah. That is like, 40-foot tall ceiling up there.
Yeah. There's places in that building that the sun hasn't shone, and like I say, like in 100 years.
Right.
That are inside that building. So if you were a, spirit, whatever, that was affected by daylight, you could hang out in there for decades and never have to fear anything.
And then if you go back and you talk about like religious variants or like fairy tale variants, obviously North America, we have the Black Masses, the Dark Watchers, but you get in the UK, it's the Shades and the Shadow Folk,
Right.
Mexico has them tied to the Day of the Dead. Japan, female shadows that follow cursed men. Middle East, a jinn in shadow form haunting graveyards. South Africa reports shadow-like demons. So once again, they're all over the place, and in folklore, so they've been around for, like we talk about the dragons. The whole world has these things long before they even talk to each other. So, and then shadow people in haunted locations, which
that's what we talk about. We see more of them anywhere, than anywhere else. Especially
your highly, highly active large buildings with darkness.
Right.
And then, like, that whole section there in Alton was built out of the stones from the jail. So that is a high energy, high negative energy. Oh, yeah. Like, literally 2 or 3 blocks, they used all the stones from the Civil War jail to make all the foundations for those buildings.
Right.
So, crazy? Like, high dark energy and that's why Alton's one of the most haunted cities in the world. Yeah. If you look it up on any list, it's always in the top. So, there's a lot of that, and it's the places that are lightly haunted are usually not where we see them. It's the places that have a crud load of activity.
Yeah.
Crud load of activity, and then bam. I'm surprised we haven't seen any at the Lemp. You know what? The other paranormal group has a shadow figure picture in the doorway. Up where we set up base camp last year at the meet and greet. They have a picture of a shadow person in that doorway. So there are shadow people there. Yeah. So there's the shadow realm theory, which it's the idea that shadow people reside in a parallel dimension and interact with our world when the veil is thin around 3 a.m. The one I saw one at like 10 or 11 o'clock, or 7 or 8 o'clock actually, in like just after it had gotten dark on Halloween night. The one was 10 o'clock, and then the other one was probably 2 or 3, and then the one in the basement was probably 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So I'm not going with the whole 3 o'clock theory.
Yeah, we usually clear out by 3 o'clock.
Yeah, we're usually gone. Yeah. We usually do like 10 to 1 investigation.
I'm getting too old for that all-night paranormal investigation business.
Well, that's like last year when we were on the meet and greet. A lot of the people that were there, I'm like, night, guys, I'm going to bed. It was like 12 o'clock. I'm like, I'm done.
Back in the day, though, we'd go out to a haunted location and be there until the sun came up, and then hit Denny's on the way home, and then go catch a nap, and then them days are long gone. Right. Not anymore.
So they could possibly low frequency dimension feeding on fear.
I like that one. I hadn't thought about that.
Shadow realm overlaps with the astral plane and occult systems, and mediums describe it as cold, dark, and silent is where they live. Shadow people may slip in through ritual or trauma. So some believe dreams are an entry point. I don't know if I'm big on that theory.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. So, wrapping up in the conspiracy theories involving shadow people, that they're controlled by an elite cult group of psychic surveillance.
Yeah.
Guarding secret entrances to underground facilities.
That's what we were just talking about.
So,
Project Stargate.
Yep. So used to intimidate whistleblowers and experiences, shadow figures as handlers for targeted individuals, thought to be AI-generated entities in a simulated reality.
Ooh.
That's a nice one. That's kind of a new. That's a new one.
Like the Merovingian.
So, yeah. Yep. Suppressed by intelligence agencies to prevent panic, and some claim they appear after certain pharmaceutical trials. That's an interesting. I don't know if I would believe that one. That one's a little.
I don't know about that.
Look, we're on the fringe, but that's a little too fringy for me. I think that one fell off the table.
Trials. I don't know.
That one fell off the table. So, thank you guys for joining us on the podcast. We hope you enjoyed our dive into shadow figures.
Yeah.
Go out there, head down these rabbit holes yourself, do the research. Let us know in the comments what you guys think.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're up here on YouTube, do us a favor, subscribe, ring the notification bell, share, comment. If you know anybody that would like our content, send it out to people you know. Yeah. Once again, we still have that contest. Send us your paranormal story. This is the other bag. The big bag is upstairs now. But you can choose from either this little bag or there's like a mini backpack bag.
Yeah, they're both leather.
Like a shoulder bag. They're both made of leather.
Going for you.
It's a paranormal starter kit, EMF detector. We'll throw in a temp gun. It's flashlight, spirit box.
Yeah.
We'll throw all that in there for you. The way you win it is you send us your paranormal story, and you either send it to the Real Veritas Project at gmail.com,
yep.
which is Bob, or you can send it to me, which I'm investigator.todd.paranormal@gmail.com, and we'll make a podcast out of your story, and we don't even decide. So we'll make the podcast, we'll put them out there in random order, and the person's podcast after the last podcast, 30 days, because YouTube pushes for 30 days.
Yep.
So after 30 days after the last podcast, whoever's podcast got the most votes, you get that bag. Yep. And all the equipment in it. So, I mean, the equipment alone's $80-$90.
Oh, at least. You figure.
So, and then the bag's probably $30-$40, if not more. So, because they are real leather bags. Let's see, what else? Oh, Patreon. You follow us on Patreon. If you just follow us on Patreon, we will put you in the card at the end of the podcast. Yep. So you will be immortalized in our podcast if you follow us on Patreon. If you become a $5 subscriber, we send you out a postcard every month. Bob and I signs it. Angie writes you a nice note because Bob and I can't write worth shit. Our handwriting sucks. So, but Angie will send you a nice note and you'll get that postcard every month. Also, if you want to check us out in the Discord, go check out the Veritas Project on Discord and join our Discord channel.
Yep, we're filling it
up. Printify.
Yeah,
you want some merch?
T-shirts.
And here's the thing about the merch. We don't make crap on that.
No.
Like,
I have it set to the lowest tier.
Bob literally has it set to, we don't make a damn thing, basically.
We don't make anything.
I think we get, what is it, like, it's not even $1 a shirt, is it?
I don't think it is.
It's like 80 something cents a shirt or something like that we get.
13% or something like that.
So, but the shirts are nice. They're nice shirts. They're about $16 for a nice t-shirt. And I mean, this is one of the old ones from the old junky place that we don't use anymore. I got to order me some new ones.
They're terrible.
But you can get one with a big logo.
The shirts aren't terrible. The business is terrible.
Yeah, the business is terrible. But no, the new shirts, the new business is good, and the shirts are good. But if you want something like this to help promote us and just, hey, I watch these guys on YouTube, then go get you some merch, and we do cups, some merch,
man. Put some stickers on your car. Do all the
hoodies, all that good stuff. Anything you guys want. Let's see. Check us out on all other social medias. Bob is RS Curtis 73 on everything,
Instagram,
and the Real Veritas Project.
Yeah.
And I'm Investigator Todd on everything. And I think we got everything covered. Yeah. Once again, on behalf of Bob, Angie, Kay, Robin, and myself, thank you for joining us once again on the podcast. And remember,
stay curious
and find the truth. And we'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.